the Chicago Bulls actually went out in free agency and addressed their shooting issue, and they brought in Chicago's very own Jevon Carter. This was released on the first day of free agency. This was also a guy that was top 3 on my list of free agents that the Bulls could go out and get, and AK actually went out and did his job and fixed a problem, or at least attempted to fix a problem with this team. This is just a quick look at Jevon Carter's stats here, but the biggest thing we're going to be doing in this video is just breaking down all the videos, okay? I have a ton of clips pulled up here about Jevon Carter, but I want to be breaking down his three-point shooting, his really good defense, and then what is he as like a pick and roll option potentially. There's a lot to really get into, but before we get into it, I'll make sure that like button if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Let's talk about Jevon Carter here. Quick look at his stats here. Biggest thing I want to point out is that he is shooting about 42% for three-point range last season, which is fantastic, obviously. Career high, 8 points per game. Very, very solid stuff from Jevon Carter. This is his shooting chart. Big thing to note is that he doesn't really shoot much inside, okay? So don't expect many attempts at the rim because he is 6'1" at the end of the day. That is not really something I was expecting from him. Is just, you know, we don't expect a 6'1" guy to be going in and shooting a bunch of layups, right? So this makes a lot of sense in my opinion, but just look at the overall shots here. You can see a lot, and I mean, it's most of his shots are from three-point range, and that to me just makes me smile because we haven't had someone like this in a bit on this Chicago Bulls team. One thing I wanted to look at here, just to kind of give you a perspective what Jevon Carter brings to the team, is just look at the three-point attempts by the Bulls last season. Here are the leaders in three-point attempts per game. Obviously, Zach and Kobe were at the top. Zach leads by a wide margin, as he should, but we need to see players take more attempts per game. Here's the total three-point shots per game, okay? And if you're just looking at the stats for Jevon Carter, he averaged 4.2 threes a game. That would put him tied for third on the team already, so that itself would hopefully up this three-point attempts per game by a significant amount, just by bringing in Jevon Carter himself. And if we look at the total threes that Jevon Carter actually made, he made I believe it was 344 threes, or sorry, 143 threes, but he attempted 344. If we just look at the attempts per game by the Chicago Bulls, Zach led with 544, but Jevon Carter attempted 344, and that would put him immediately tied for third with Kobe White on the team. That, again, just shows you how important it is to shoot threes in this league. And Philadelphia, just to give you an example, is Philadelphia, they were 16th in the league in three-point attempts per game. They put up 2,675 threes. The Bulls put up 2,367 threes. So just having more guys on the team that can shoot, as you see with Philly, you have 5 guys that had over 300 threes attempted. The Bulls only had 3. That just shows you how important it is to shoot threes in this league. And Philly isn't the best shooting team in the world. They don't take a ton, but again, it's very important. Now, one thing to keep in mind before we get into the videos here about Jevon Carter, here's just a look of his shot charts, okay, or just in terms of numbers. In terms of all the three-point shots, I just want to focus on this stuff here. Above the break, 42%. Right corner, close to 50%. From the right corner 3, amazing. Left corner, not as good, but 36% is still respectable. So he can basically shoot it from anywhere on the court. He obviously likes above the break. Makes a lot of sense because he is a point guard at the end of the day. And other thing to note is the catch and shoot from Jevon Carter. He shot 44% on catch and shoot threes last season. My God, that's fantastic. And other thing I want to point out is that on 0 dribbles and 1 dribble shots for Jevon Carter, he shoots 40% or better. So look for this a lot from Jevon Carter, and don't look for him to really dribble a ton. He obviously can do it, as you can kind of see, 3 to 6 dribbles. He shot pretty well too, but that's not necessarily his game. If you want to see it in total numbers, I mean, this is just fantastic just from the stat from Drew Stevens. Now, I talked for about 3 minutes or 4 minutes about his stats here. Let's actually get into the video here, and I want to break down a lot of the three-point shots that we're going to see from Jevon Carter in this video, okay? So, how many times have we seen this as Bulls fans, where we see either DeRozan or LaVine get a drive into the lane, has to kick out to a guy that isn't really willing to shoot the 3-ball? Well, Jevon Carter is very willing to shoot the 3-ball, as you can see right here. Bobby Portis gets right into the lane, kicks it out for Jevon Carter, who is not hesitant at all, gets a shot up quickly, easy, awesome. Now, other thing I am very interested in is, can Jevon Carter bring something to this Bulls offense that hopefully Billy Donovan is a little bit more open to running, which is getting an off-ball screen for a 3-point shot. In this clip here, you can actually see Bobby Portis come down instead of down screen for Jevon Carter to come up here to the top of, or to above the break. He's going to screen Josh Giddey, and then this is going to make enough separation for Jevon Carter to get a shot off, even though he is 6'1", and Josh Giddey is very, very tall, right? But you see here, Josh Giddey does get a little bit lost, so I'm sure that helped. But not the best screen by Portis. It's a pretty decent screen, but it's not like the best in the world. But Jevon Carter is able to get the space, shot off, immediately knocks it down. If we can have this in our offense, then I am extremely happy, because we have not had that in our offense, and part of it's Billy Donovan, but also lack of shooters on this team. I would like to see that play run, whether it's for Zach, for Kobe, or Jevon Carter. It's a good play, and if a 42% three-point shooter shooting that's a good thing, okay? We need to get used to shooting those types of shots. It's a good thing at the end of the day, all right? To talk about his corner three-point shots, here's Jevon Carter over here in the corner. This is stuff that I do think is important just to kind of look at quickly. But, you know, pick and roll, drive and kick by Grayson Allen. I'm sorry to mention his name, but here we go. It's a pretty okay, but a little bit late contest by Jalen Brunson, and Jevon Carter's not even thinking about it, right? He's just like, oh, screw you. I don't even care. Jalen Brunson, get out. I'm not even looking at you. Bang, right? Now, this is a little bit of a defensive clip, but this is something that I want you guys to understand about Jevon Carter, and you cannot get mad at him. And I already know Bulls fans are going to get mad at him for this, but Jevon Carter is known for his pull-up threes in transition. All right, I do like Jevon Carter's like pace of play. He does typically push the ball pretty well. He obviously is 6'1", so he is pretty fast, but this is something that you have to get used to, Bulls fans, okay? He doesn't shoot that well from inside the paint or at the rim, right? We looked at these numbers. I mean, 53% at the rim is not great. Obviously, 3 to 10 feet, shooting 23%. So there really is no reason for him to be shooting shots in the paint, right? Especially when you shoot 42% from 3. So as you can see here, he gets the steal, and you have Giannis here just chugging along, right? But for Carter, that doesn't even matter. He's just going to be like, all right, well, you're going to back off of me, Spencer Dinwiddie, and give me too much space. I'm going to knock down the 3-ball, okay? This is something that he will do. Don't get mad at it, because at the end of the day, it's probably a pretty good shot, especially if Zach LaVine is not on the floor. I'm okay with that shot because, again, he shoots 42% from three-point range. He doesn't shoot well at the rim. Obviously, if there's a layup, you take the layup, but if there's not really a layup like in that possession, then please, by all means, just go ahead and shoot the three-point shot. You're one of the best three-point shooters already on this Bulls team. Last but not least, it's going to lead into the pick and roll that I want to talk about with Jevon Carter. Let's just watch this play right here. This is something I'm actually a little bit intrigued by because this is a pick and roll, obviously, with Bobby Portis here. Jevon Carter comes off the screen. The Thunder switch it. So Darius Baisley picks up Jevon Carter, and we see Shea is going to pick up Bobby Portis here. But you see that with Jevon, like he looks pretty comfortable with Darius Baisley sinking down this way, right? And he got the mismatch that Jevon looks pretty comfortable just going ahead and shooting it, right? And this is not like a catch and shoot three or just a one dribble pull up three, right? This is actually like in the pick and roll. He got the switch and just does a little step back and shoots it. So if the Bulls are actually going to start Jevon Carter, he started 39 games last year. He averaged 22 minutes per game. I can see that number going up on this team, especially if he's going to be starting and not Kobe starting at the point guard. That points per game might go up to like close to 10. And hopefully he's going to be raising this 3-point attempts per game, because I can definitely see that going up to 5 or 6. And that's, again, only a good thing for this Bulls team because we were dead last in 3-point attempts per game. One thing I want to note of about Jevon Carter, again, I did just show this like a little pick and roll, but you can see here he's not exactly like the best option in the pick and roll. I mean, we're talking about the 36th percentile. He's this guy right here that I have highlighted. 0.8 points per possession, not the greatest option. We're gonna see it time and time again, but this is not something that I'm like really looking at as like, oh yeah, let's go ahead and like run a pick and roll with Jevon Carter. We want him being the shooter, right? Not really the playmaker at all. And not really trying to score off the pick and roll either. But he does have some skills when it comes to all this that I do want to point out. So let's just watch this clip here with Bobby Portis setting the screen. And this is like a little bit of a side pick and roll. So you're going to see here he's going to come off of like this little wing pick and roll. And he seems pretty comfortable shooting his mid-range shot if necessary, if it's actually given to him. As you can see, Pokusevski was playing the drop and didn't want Jevon Carter for some reason to not get to the basket, which, again, I don't know why you would do that. But if the shot's given to him, he can shoot that like 16 foot pull up, right? Again, it's not something I really want to see from Jevon Carter, and it's not really something that he really did. I mean, just look at these numbers. He doesn't really shoot mid-range, which, again, good thing. But it is something that he can do. And then even on this possession right here, here's Brook Lopez setting the screen. He does a really decent job of, reading the defense. Pokusevski keeps going back. This is also against Lou Dort, by the way, who's a very solid defender. And he gets that screen from Lopez, and he was able to kind of do this little floater shot. So something for Jevon Carter to work on if he can't really shoot effectively from inside. If he gets that little floater, that he can definitely be a pick and roll option. Not the top option, obviously, but he can be an option if necessary. So a little bit of the pick and roll that is kind of really cool with Jevon Carter. Now, I want to get to the defense because this is something that I think we all kind of know about Jevon Carter, but let's just talk. I just want to play this clip that this is from the Milwaukee Bucks YouTube channel, and let's just listen to what Jevon Carter has to say when he's guarding Trae Young.
Just making him think about it a little more.
That's it. See, I instantly make him get into posture right away, because he know if he stood straight up, I might take it from him.
He had to lock it.
So Jevon's picking up Trae Young full court here, which is something I know Bulls fans will absolutely love, but he's talking about how he is doing this just to make sure that Trae Young has to like get, in good position and make sure he's not going to turn over the basketball at half court, right? So you want to talk about a bulldog? This is Jevon Carter at his best. He also had a play in this exact video that was talking about him guarding CJ McCollum, and they played it, and he also explained it. I recommend checking out this video just to kind of get an insight of what Jevon Carter thinks when he's playing basketball. But this play was in the video, and he broke it down. Okay, let's just watch how good Jevon Carter is in multiple situations here. Okay, he picked up CJ McCollum up here at full court. Okay, so he's making CJ McCollum have to work just to get this possession started. Okay, now this is a horn set, right? Here's the horn set here. He's gonna pass it off to Hernan Gomez, I believe. That's he's passing it to. Now, Carter does a good job of just sticking on CJ, right? We don't know if there's going to be a screen coming here, but you have to make sure that CJ doesn't get any space, because CJ could just cut right to the basket and Jevon would be cooked, right? You have to stay on CJ McCollum to make sure that pass isn't available, all right? Now, CJ, it seems like this play was also a little bit broken by the Pelicans, but let's just watch Jevon here as he is going to get off-ball screen by Hernan Gomez coming down here to set the screen for CJ McCollum to come up in the curl. And you just see Carter is just on him like glue, right? Stuck on him, and this is something that Carter does really well. Screen navigation. He does give a little bit of space to CJ here, but he recovers quickly, okay? CJ can't get the shot off, which he obviously could have, taken that shot if he was open, but Carter's there. Now, biggest thing that this is so important for this Bulls team, okay? And this is the reason why I think Carter's going to fit in perfectly with this team. When it comes to the pick and roll, and you're playing the drop coverage, okay? So in this case with Lopez, he's playing the drop. This would be Nikola Vucevic for us, okay? You have to, by all means, you have to force the ball handler in the pick and roll to go into the screen, okay? Or in a sense, take the screen. If Carter lets CJ McCollum go this way and lets him reject the screen, Brook Lopez is not in position to help, okay? Because Brook Lopez is already coming up here thinking that, oh, CJ is going to come over here, right? So Brook Lopez is not going to really be in position. If McCollum goes this way, he's not going to be in the best position to come over and help, right? So it's important for Carter to force CJ to take the screen, which he does, and then he gets through that screen pretty well, and he is all over CJ on this shot. Just watch how he gets up onto CJ and just blocks a shot from behind. You want to talk about a guy that fits this Bulls team and what they need on the perimeter defense? Jevon Carter, right? And now this play, I just want you guys just to watch just how good Carter is also off ball here. He does get kind of screened pretty heavily here. This is not the best technique, but he does get through it. But the biggest thing is the off-ball defense, okay? He is going to stick to CJ McCollum like glue on this possession, and he doesn't allow CJ to get anything, okay? Pump fake by Jonas Valanciunas. All right, we're going to try to hand off, right? He's going to come over and try to hand off a little pick and roll action. Well, we're going to deny that option if I'm Jevon Carter, right? You're not allowed to go that way. He tries to cut back door. Nope, you're not going that way either. Okay, he gets the hand on the basketball. Look at how much CJ McCollum has to just work just to get the basketball back from Jonas Valanciunas, okay? Again, Jevon Carter at his best here. He then forces CJ McCollum to have to pick up his dribble here, doesn't even allow him to get into the paint, and forces a pass out to Herb Jones out here, who can obviously hit that shot, but Brook Lopez is guarding him, and again, this is the end of the possession, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really, mean much about Jevon Carter anymore. But that is just to show you how good Jevon Carter is on both on-ball and off-ball on the perimeter end. He can guard a lot of guys on the perimeter, even guys I think bigger than his size. Again, he is only 6'1", but he's most likely just to be guarding guards on the opposing team and locking up that point guard or shooting guard on the opposing end. Now, something that is from Basketball Index. Now, this is not something I've double-checked, but I'm just going to go ahead and trust this stuff. Sneak peek at Basketball Index 2022-23 difficulty adjusted ball screen navigation top 10. We have Jevon Carter here at number 9, and obviously you can see just a bunch of other really good screen navigators just on this list and just overall good defenders, right? So really solid stuff from Jevon Carter. It's just screen navigation, and then also this right here. Just look at this number, like all these numbers, and again, I'm not double checked this, but I'm gonna trust it. Like matchup difficulty, he's 91st percentile, isolation defense 99th percentile. Like all this is just points to a really good defensive player on the perimeter end, and I'm very, very happy that we got him. So I've gone through all of my clips in all my video analysis and breakdown for Jevon Carter. I talked about obviously his three-point shot, potential pick and roll options, and last but not least his very incredible defense. So this is MK Hoops talking about how it's going to be with signing Jevon Carter and obviously re-signing Kobe White on the first day of free agency. This is kind of like a potential option here, so if you want to take a quick look at this, here you go. But if you want to keep like kind of messing around with it, Spot Track has already updated all of this, and this is just projections for Jevon Carter. It's not 100%, but we signed him obviously to part of the mid-level exception. He's going to be making about $6.3 million in his first year with us, which I think is a very, very good value for Jevon Carter, especially if he's going to be starting for this team. That's a very, very solid value. But we're looking at here, it's not much left for this Bulls team, so I'm not going to really go through this too much, but as you can see here, I kind of released all the guys that I don't think are coming back. Derek Jones Jr., Javonte Green. I don't know why Matt Thomas is here, but I had Io just take the qualifying offers. I'm just preparing for the worst in terms of money for Io, and then I guarantee Carlik Jones because I do think that the Bulls are going to potentially keep him around. But with this, though, there's not much left between the Bulls and current payroll and the luxury tax, right? So the idea, honestly, is just to kind of go off of what MK Hoops kind of did. Hopefully this loads for me. But we don't really think the Bulls could be using too much more money for the rest of free agency. So a guy like Torrey Craig is still out there. He signed to the biannual exception. Suddenly now there's only $3.4 million in tax space. This does not include signing Julian Phillips, which is going to cost about $1.1 million if you look here from MK Hoops' graph here. And then the last roster spot, which would be the 15th roster spot, is just a vet man, which is about $2 million, and that would take up the rest of the cap space for the Chicago Bulls. Okay, so this looks like this could be the team. Jevon Carter, it looks like the main guy in terms of free agency, but I do think the Bulls got a pretty impactful player. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Julian Phillips breakdown's coming out next. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.